welcome back to the course on computer-aided decision support systems. Let us continue our discussions on the different software platforms of the big data. The next software I have is RapidMiner. RapidMiner has become one of the most popular tools for applying data science. So, there is a case study by Domino's where they improved their prototype, means the kind of the food that they were producing, and their demand forecast while using the RapidMiner software. So, it held top spot in one of the data science platform in 2017. It also got award for that. It is an effective tool for data mining that helps to create predictive models. So, it is a data mining tool to develop predictive models. When I say predictive models, that means forecasting is the best that it could handle. Data preparation, machine learning, deep learning are all features which are included in all-in-one tool that is known as RapidMiner. So, which means RapidMiner is a tool that helps to have better AI, artificial intelligence. There are multiple case studies that RapidMiner work with, like Future Bright Analytics or international education company used RapidMiner systems or RapidMiner analytics to have the growth in the student success at scale. Then for cyber security itself, there are applications which in which they identified the mitigating threats by using RapidMiner. So, RapidMiner is one of the supply chains, as I said in the Domino's case as well, where the forecasting of the demand across the supply chain was crucial, and how data science team at Domino's tackled the challenge and worked through complex time series forecasting from prototype to delivery. This was developed in a R software only. So, Domino's used the R platform as well. So, there were two major things, prototype and delivery for both of them. So, the reduction in the errors and quickening the runtime. So, this was taken through the RapidMiner. RapidMiner provides a single platform for handling data, creating machine learning programs. Then creating machine learning programs and deploying the programs. So, it supports the integration of built-in RapidMiner Hadoop with Hadoop framework. So, we have RapidMiner Hadoop with Hadoop. So, there is an integration between two. So, it uses automated modeling to produce predictive models, it is already mentioned. So, RapidMiner case study is one that I will put a video link in the reference slide. So, you can just have a quick look that how Domino's manager for the data science, Ryan Felderick, praised this, that how the software, it is not about RapidMiner, it is not about the specific case study also, it is how the database analytics, the big database analytics, and how the artificial intelligence is being enhanced using the small platforms which were developed. Now, NIME is another platform. NIME is an open source data analytics platform for data science or data analysis and business intelligence. So, it was developed in Java. It enables users to interactively create views and models visually create data flows, then execute the analysis steps which are needed. So, it is a good substitute to SAS being open sourced. Right. So, it provides the basic ETL operations, and it can be used in a combination with various languages. So, it provides a wide range of integrated tools and cutting edge algorithms. So, setting up of NIME is also simple. So, it has no instability program. No instability problems are there. So, as NIME is an interface which can have a graphics analytics platform. So, it can be used with or combined with various languages, as I said, combination of various languages, for example, R or Python. The workflow interface is graphic based, which means it can have a better user interface, that what are we trying to present to the people or the team that we have already created. It can also be used in migrating data from very simple programs, like from the Excel sheet itself. We can migrate the program to NIME and try to create the visual views of it. So, from the Excel itself we can get the program and try to run a small analysis what we require. So, it can help to migrate the data from popular systems, for example, MS Excel. Elasticsearch is another platform which is developed in Java, and it was used by Walmart. So, what is this? It is an open source database server which is used to conduct full text searches. Not only full text searches, it also does analysis on the searches that it has conducted, which is conducted on an HTTP web interface. It collects the unstructured data, organizes them into an algorithm or a programs which are complex, which are suited for the language based searches. Language based searches, that is the full text of the language could be searched, or that could be then programmed to have an useful output of it. How does it work? In the Walmart case study, Walmart ingested 4 billion metadata records. The metadata records, who is the person, what was the item number, so in the item number, where was it sent, what was the expiry date of the data, just what date before expiry was it sold, how many items were sold in what store. So, these could be all metadata points. So, these records were put for the past 5 years. So, these were put in the Elasticsearch, and Walmart global risk analysis team can identify instances of fraud in real time, that is especially when gift card scams were targeted at senior citizens. So, how they could hear using elastic security, so alerting the people, the graph features to save consumers in millions of fraudulent gift card requests when the people try to use the Walmart's name and try to do some frauds or so. Elasticsearch is a trustworthy and simple to scale program. So, even when searching through a very large data sets, it provides high speed in language based searches. Elasticsearch makes searching, indexing, querying of the data simple by providing straightforward result full API. When I say schema free, schema free documents. When I say schema free, it means that the raw data is not tested. A schema free database makes almost no changes to your data, that is, each entity in the data is saved in its document, in its own document with a partial schema, leaving the raw data information untouched. So, this is a beauty of Elasticsearch, that your raw data, that your raw language files or language programs, that are full text searches that which were made are all safe. Next comes Teradata. Teradata is a tool for creating large scale data warehousing. So, in the large scale data warehousing, where applications are developed using Teradata, it is again an RDBMS, relational database management system, and it typically provides a comprehensive database warehousing solutions. So, massive parallel processing could run, massive parallel processings. Network attached systems or mainframes can be connected using Teradata. A node, a parsing engine, a message passing layer, an access module processor make up its important parts. It can scale up very well. Scale up very well. It allows for industry standard SQL interaction. Next comes the two most important softwares which are available. I will call big data platforms which are most widely used. Microsoft, we cannot ignore. Microsoft has its Azure data analytics platform. R programming is one which is the highly or the most highly sought of the programming languages, because it is free, completely freeware, and it has a good R studio. It has R script where we can write a script of the program, and it also has a console where you can just download these different points, and R environment, it tells you what are the programs which are running, and also we have R studio, the graphical output. Here we call it as R studio. So, R can help us to develop many kinds of the different visualizations. For instance, we can have graphical tools for just plotting a simple histogram, a pie chart, a line diagram. Here you can see a small box and viscous plots are there. So, R tool is very widely used. So, it is for statistical computing, graphics and big data analysis. Programming languages are used here. It offers a huge selection of statistical tests. For instance, if we need to do t-test, if we need to conduct an ANOVA, if we need to conduct a classification test, that is the chi-square test, So, these all could be done using R software. The tools for R programming offer efficient data handling and storage. It offers a logical and comprehensive set of big data tools for data analysis. The graphics is unmatched for any other freeware platforms which are available. Software engineers commonly used R program for data analysis, for statistical tests. R programming language is extensible and offers an open source environment, allowing programs to access it free. However, this language must be used with the terms provided in the Free Software Foundation GNU, that is there is GNU license always is there. So, GNU license is the general public license, that is the Free Software Foundation's GNU is there. So, our programming language could be used with different kinds of the operating systems, like it could be used in Linux, Windows, Mac operating system. The language has a major benefit that it is an effective statistical programming language, while considering its drawbacks even. So, when we start using it, the main benefits of our program would definitely overlook or would overrun whatever small drawbacks are there. So, it has a broad range of libraries, excellent statistical calculations and data analysis could be conducted. It supports across different platforms, and it supports across different types of the data. For example, wide range of the vectors, the matrices, arrays, then data objects of diverse sizes could be ingested in it. Data cleansing or data transforming is one of the main features that is our programming allows one to do the web scraping to collect the data or to collect the most useful data for the research that the one is trying to work upon. It also allows one to have data cleansing while allowing to identify and remove the correct or erroneous or corrupt data. It has powerful graphics, definitely that is talked upon. There are small drawbacks for the R program. So, there are certain pros and cons. The pros I have just mentioned. The cons would be in data handling, it uses physical memory. So, in contrast to other languages like Python or so, the R uses the memory that is little more than Python. Basic security is lacked in R because it is the weak software, it is open access software. It is essential part of the most programming languages such as Python, that the basic security is there, because many restrictions are there. So, R cannot be embedded in a web application. So, to some people it is a complicated language in a way that it has steep learning curve. The people who do not have prior knowledge of programming or maybe the basic syntax of C or C++ sometimes may find it difficult to learn R in the beginning itself. So, like the Excel sheets or maybe putting the data in just a graphical systems, maybe just like KNIME or so, it is easy to work upon. So, R program, one has to have basic understanding of the programming languages. Other than that, the speed is lesser. I will just jot down its weak points only here. It uses physical memory, then it has weak security, right. It is considered little tough language or little hard language for amateurs. Then the difference between R and Python or other big languages is that R also has a weak origin, that is it does not have a support for dynamic or 3D graphics, though the graphics whatever statisticians would like to see do come there, but the graphics in the 3 dimensional form are still lacked here. So, I would say lacks 3D graphics. Also, its speed is little slower than the other setup of the languages such as MATLAB, Python. They are faster than what R does, but still because of the advantages of the R which I just mentioned, R is still most highly used programming languages, and the people who would like to just start with the data analytics always majorly focus on the R program. Excel, MS Excel or Microsoft Excel sheets or these do help, but R is a free license. So, we can develop even the big case studies which I discussed about. The Netflix also used its program in the beginning in the R itself. Walmart also used R to store the programs and to have the program run upon them. So, next is Microsoft Azure. Because big data analytics business was all coming up with a big boom, Microsoft also developed its program known as HD Insight. Which is now known as Azure software. So, a Spark and Hadoop service in the cloud is called Azure HD Insight. So, both the Spark and Hadoop, when it is run in cloud, and the data centers, where are those located? Nowadays, I will just let you know that the data centers that Microsoft have located are underwater. Since 2015, it ran a program where they store the data sets or the data centers the servers underwater. With the underwater, they also observed that the failure that happens in the next 4 years were minimal or about 1/8 of that those run in the data centers on the surface. So, out of 864 terminals, only 8 were crashed underwater, which means the human interaction is one of the factors which was completely absent underwater. So, that also sometimes increase your crashing of the data points or so, or data centers servers points. So, HD Insight is a software that helps you to have a scale cluster for the organization to use or run its big data workloads. It provides an enterprise level monitoring and security. Then it extends on the premises security and governance controls to the cloud while protecting data assets. Governance control to the cloud. That means it protect your data sets. It offers developers and scientists a platform with a high level of productivity, levels, because it is an enterprise based software, enterprise level. If I say, that means all parts of the system or the enterprise, when we say the enterprise resource management, whether it is purchasing of the material, whether it is the transfer of the material to the machine shop or to the processing system in a manufacturing concern, or it is the salaries of the people who are working upon and their the timely workload of the people to be designed. All the data sets could be there, that the forecasting, the finances, from where and how are the funds coming, how do the funds flow. So, what are the different rates of return, payback period, what is the net present value systems, these are all in finances. At enterprise level, it tries to support you at different kinds of the levels and different kinds of the functions of organization, whether it is production, finance, human resource or marketing. Everywhere Azure, Microsoft do help you to ingest the data and try to transform it to the useful form. So, Microsoft keeps on updating the Azure system or Azure platform with the latest open source ecosystems. For example, the newest releases of the open source famous such as Kafka, then Hive or so. HD Insight or Azure supports the latest open source projects from the Apache, Hadoop or Spark ecosystems. It also helps you to integrate natively with the Azure services, that is, you can build your own data lake. I call it data lake here, or you call it analytics sandbox, through seamless integration with the Azure data storage solutions and services, including there are different modules of Azure. They call it Azure Synapse, right, or you call it Azure Cosmos database, or you call it Azure Data Lake Storage, Azure Blob Storage, Azure Event Hubs. Or Azure Data Factory. Integration of the different functions and or the horizons of the enterprise could be done here, and it provides flexibility to use multiple language tools such as Scala, Python, right, then R, JavaScript or .NET. So, this is how Azure or Microsoft has also taken its lead while including the Apache, Hadoop, Spark, Hive, Kafka and more, and using Azure HD Insight as a customizable enterprise grade service for open source analytics. So, massive amount of data can be taken, and benefits of the broad open source project ecosystem with the global scale of Azure. It easily migrate your big data workloads into the cloud, and you can work upon them. With this, I would like to take rest here. With this, the major softwares or major platforms which are available for the big data are discussed. I would like to discuss a case study on the big data analytics life cycle, the life cycles which I discussed in the previous week. The case study would be taken on a network service provider application. Thank you.